I don't know if you've ever witnessed a wedding moment that completely shifted the air in the room, but I have. And honestly, it's strange how those memories stick with you. Sometimes they show up when I'm driving, or washing dishes, or scrolling through my phone late at night. And for some reason, this thing that happened to someone else, keeps replaying in my mind as if I was standing right there at the altar. Maybe it's because it reminded me that people never reveal who they truly are until the very last second. Or maybe it's because what she did, no one saw it coming. Not even him. But let me go straight into it, because the way everything unfolded still leaves me with chills. Liam had always been the kind of guy people trusted. Not because he was loud or charismatic, but because he was steady, one of those people who listens before speaking. The type who makes you feel safe without even trying. He wasn't the life of the party growing up, but he was reliable, predictable in the best way possible. And it was exactly that stability that pulled Maya into his orbit. Maya was different. Not chaotic, not exactly, but she had that kind of presence that made you want to look twice. Quiet confidence, sharp eyes, an aura that felt both inviting and impossible to decode. She wasn't the type to say everything she thought. Most of her emotions hid behind a polite smile, the kind that revealed nothing and everything at the same time. When they first met at a mutual friend's dinner party, people said they looked mismatched. Too different, but somehow they fit. He grounded her. She intrigued him. And for a long time it worked, until the wedding planning began, and things that once seemed harmless started to feel strangely symbolic. Like how she suddenly became distant whenever someone mentioned her family, or the way her sister, Sienna, always seemed to lurk nearby, watching Maya with an expression that hovered between concern and warning. Or even worse, the shift in her relationship with Jared, Liam's best friend. Nothing inappropriate, not at first glance. But tension has a scent. And the closer the wedding day got, the stronger it became. Liam didn't notice it at first. Or maybe he did, but ignored it the way people ignore small cracks in the wall, hoping they won't grow. He trusted Maya. He trusted Jared. And he convinced himself everything was fine. But I'm telling you now, the signs were there. The first real sign came 2 months before the wedding, when they went to a family dinner at Maya's parents' house. The evening started warm enough, wine glasses clinking, polite laughter. Her mother insisting everyone eat more even though the plates were full. But underneath that warmth was a palpable heaviness. A tension sitting on the edge of every chair. Maya kept glancing at her father in a way Liam didn't understand, as if she was waiting for him to say something, or terrified he would. And then during dessert, when someone asked about the wedding vows, her father muttered under his breath, "If you only knew." Maya snapped, too quickly, too harshly, telling him to just stop, before forcing a smile like nothing happened. Liam brushed it off as family drama. But that moment planted a seed he couldn't shake. Another sign came when he noticed Maya deleting messages on her phone. Not suspicious at first. Everyone clears notifications, but these were full conversations. Conversations she didn't want him to read. And when he asked, she said it was just stress. That she needed boundaries, that he was overthinking. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. But the message that truly rattled him was the one he saw by accident. Preview on her lock screen. One sentence from Sienna. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Do what? Liam didn't confront her. He convinced himself that surprises happen during wedding planning. That secrets don't always mean danger. And maybe he didn't want to shake the ground he stood on. Because if he started looking for the truth, what if he found it? The week before the wedding was filled with even more oddities. Maya missing appointments. Whispered arguments with her mother behind closed doors. Jared showing up to their apartment unannounced. And the night before the ceremony, she slept in the guest room, claiming she needed space to center herself. Still, he believed in her. Sometimes love does that, it makes you blind in selective, convenient ways. On the morning of the wedding, the sky was painfully clear. The kind of blue that feels staged. Guests arrived early. The venue smelled like roses and eucalyptus. Music floated through the air, soft and hopeful. And for a brief moment, Liam felt anchored again, as if everything was finally aligning. But then Sienna appeared at his door. She didn't look like a sister of the bride ready to celebrate. She looked like someone carrying the weight of a secret she wished she didn't know. "Can I talk to you?" she asked. Her voice trembled just enough for Liam to notice. He nodded, letting her inside the room. She shut the door behind them, and for a moment she didn't speak. Instead, she stared at him like she was analyzing the consequences of every possible word. And then, whatever happens today, please remember that Maya loves you. His stomach clenched. What do you mean, whatever happens? Sienna's lip quivered. She looked down at the floor, then back at him. I'm not supposed to say anything. She wouldn't want me to, but she's been carrying something alone for too long. And today, she's going to let it out. Let what out? Liam pressed. She shook her head. I can't. I'm sorry. Just stay calm. And don't think she's doing this to hurt you. He tried asking more, but she left before he could, leaving him with a knot in his chest and 1,000 questions banging at the walls of his mind. Despite the surge of unease, the ceremony had to continue. Guests filled the seats, whispering excitedly. Cameras were positioned. Music shifted from soft ambience to the slow, warm melody introducing the bridal entrance. Everyone rose. And when Maya stepped into view, she was breathtaking yet wrong. Beautiful in the way a storm looks from a distance. Calm but charged. A peaceful surface hiding violent currents beneath. Her dress flowed like liquid silk, but her expression was unreadable. Not cold. Not warm. Something entirely different. Determined. Resolved. As if she had rehearsed a moment no one else knew existed. Liam watched her walk down the aisle, but he felt disconnected from the moment. The closer she got, the heavier the air became, until breathing felt like a deliberate effort. Something was coming. Everyone felt it, even if they didn't know what it was. Maya reached the altar. She smiled softly, nervously, and took Liam's hands. He squeezed them gently, searching her face for reassurance. Instead, she looked away, exhaling shakily. The officiant began the ceremony, his voice warm and rhythmic. Words flowed smoothly, but Maya wasn't listening. Her eyes flicked between Liam, her father, and Jared, who stood slightly behind Liam as part of the wedding party. Her fingers trembled. Her breathing changed. And then right when it was time for the vows, she pulled her hands away. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Maya! Liam whispered. She closed her eyes for a moment, and when she opened them, there were tears. But not the kind that signified joy or fear. These were tears of release. Like she had reached the edge of something she couldn't carry anymore. I can't say the vows yet, she whispered. Liam's heart plummeted. The officiant hesitated. Would you like a moment? No, she said firmly. I need to say something first. Something everyone needs to hear. Her mother visibly panicked. Her father covered his mouth. Sienna sat down, already crying. Jared shifted uncomfortably, eyes darting away. Maya stepped back, turning to face the guests. And her voice cracked just once before she steadied it. For years, she said, I've been hiding a truth that has shaped every part of my life. Today, I can't keep pretending. Not in front of all of you. Not to him. And not to myself. Whispers spread like wildfire. Liam felt frozen, unable to move, unable to speak. It was like watching a slow-motion accident he couldn't prevent. Maya clasped her hands together, looking down as if gathering strength from the floor beneath her. This wedding was supposed to start a new chapter, but you can't start a new life on top of a lie. And I'm done lying. She looked at Jared, then at her father, then at Liam. Each look held a different truth. And when she finally opened her mouth, the words that came out changed everything. Maya stood there, trembling, the weight of every secret she had ever buried rising to the surface like something clawing its way out of the dark. And when she finally spoke, her voice echoed through the hall with a clarity that made every guest fall silent. The truth is, I haven't been honest with any of you. Not with my family. Not with my friends. And especially not with you, Liam. She paused, letting the silence settle, letting everyone sink into the dread she had just unleashed. Liam's throat tightened. He had prepared himself for a lot of possibilities. Cold feet, a confession about stress, maybe even a fight with her parents. But this felt like the opening of a wound he didn't know existed. Maya continued, her voice steadier now, as if each word made her lighter. The person you think I am isn't the person I truly was for a long time. And I can't marry you without telling you who I used to be. What I used to be part of. and what I've been trying to run from." Her mother buried her face in her hands. Her father stared straight ahead as if bracing for an explosion he had known was inevitable. Sienna leaned forward, silently begging her sister to stay strong. And Jared looked like he wanted to disappear. Maya took a deep breath. "I haven't told you the real reason Jared and I were avoiding each other lately," she said. Gasps spread like wildfire. Liam's heart cracked. He felt heat rising in his chest, a suffocating mix of fear and denial. He didn't want to hear the next sentence. Not from her. Not today. But Maya wasn't finished. "It's not what you think," she said quickly, seeing the devastation forming in his eyes. "We weren't having an affair. We weren't anything like that. But Jared does know something about me. Something he promised he would never reveal." Jared's jaw clenched, guilt and tension carving sharp lines across his face. Liam turned to him, betrayal simmering. But before he could speak, Maya lifted her hand. "Please, let me say it." She looked at Liam, eyes shimmering. "Before I met you, I wasn't just dealing with stress or family issues or insecurities. I was involved in something dangerous. Something that kept me tied to people who controlled every decision I made. People who owned parts of my life I couldn't take back." A shiver moved through the room. Jared wasn't avoiding me because of feelings. He was avoiding me because he was trying to protect you. And because he was trying to protect me, he knew what I was running from. He knew who I used to be connected to. Liam felt the ground tilt beneath him. His voice cracked when he finally found the strength to speak. "Maya, what are you saying?" She swallowed hard. "I'm saying that before you ever knew me, I was part of a criminal ring my father was involved in." Her father winced. Her mother sobbed louder. Some guests covered their mouths. Others whispered frantically. Maya pressed on. "I didn't commit crimes myself, but I carried money. I lied for people. I delivered messages I knew were dangerous. I followed orders because I was too scared to break away. I did what I had to do to survive. My father," her voice broke, "forced me into it. And the day I met you, I was finally trying to leave." Liam stared at her, stunned, devastated, lost. "I tried to escape that world. I changed my number. I moved out. I cut contact with everyone except Sienna. But then Jared found out. Not because I told him, but because he recognized one of the men who used to visit my father." Jared stepped forward, regret heavy in every step. "I didn't want to destroy your relationship," he said to Liam. "But I knew something was wrong. And I thought you deserved to know." But Maya begged me to give her time. She wanted to tell you herself. She just couldn't. Not until today. Maya nodded, tears streaming down her face. "That's why I've been so distant. Why I've been scared. Why I've been deleting messages. They weren't from someone else. They were warnings. Threats. People from my past telling me that if I didn't return, if I didn't do what I used to do, they'd come after me. And after you." A collective gasp echoed through the hall. Liam felt his pulse pounding in his ears. His hands trembled. "So why now?" he whispered. "Why tell me this here? Today?" "Because," Maya cried, "they told me they would show up if I tried to leave again. And I couldn't risk you finding out from them. I couldn't let our wedding be the moment they destroyed you. I had to take control. I had to tell the truth in front of everyone so they couldn't twist it. So they couldn't use it against us." Her father stood suddenly, shaking with rage. "That's enough," he barked. "You don't know what you're doing, Maya." She turned to him, trembling but firm. "No, Dad. For the first time in my life, I know exactly what I'm doing." Her father's face turned red. But under that anger was fear. Maya looked back at Liam. "I didn't want you to marry a version of me that wasn't real. You deserve someone honest. Someone safe. I wanted to be that person for you. But I couldn't promise you a future built on lies and danger." She stepped closer, voice shaking. "So I'm giving you the truth now. All of it. And if you want to walk away, I'll understand." Liam couldn't breathe. The woman he loved had just detonated her entire life to protect him. She had ruined her own image, shattered her family's facade, exposed secrets that could have destroyed her. All because she believed he deserved the truth. He didn't know whether to collapse from heartbreak or hold her so tightly the world couldn't touch her. The guests sat in stunned silence. Even the officiant looked pale. Sienna cried softly, relief and heartbreak blending on her face. Maya looked at Liam, waiting, bracing. And then something indescribable happened. Liam took a deep breath, stepped forward, and reached for her, shaking hands. Everyone leaned in. "Maya," he whispered, "I don't care who you were. I care who you are now. And everything you just told me, it doesn't make me love you less. It makes me understand you more." Her lips parted in shock. "But you don't deserve this danger. You don't deserve." He shook his head. "I deserve the truth. And you gave it to me. That's what matters." She sobbed harder, collapsing into his arms. Liam held her like he was holding the most fragile part of the world, whispering something only she could hear. The guests erupted into whispers, some relieved, some confused, some horrified. But the ceremony didn't resume. Not immediately. Because suddenly, the doors at the back of the hall burst open. Everyone turned. 2 men in black suits stood there, scanning the room with cold, calculated eyes. Maya froze in Liam's arms. "That's them," she whispered, voice trembling. "They came." Liam stepped instinctively in front of her. But before chaos could erupt, Jared intervened. He moved with purpose, walking straight toward the men. "Enough," he said. "She told the truth. In front of everyone. There's nothing left for you to manipulate. Leave her alone." The men smirked. "You think saying it out loud changes anything?" "No," Jared said calmly. "But having a room full of witnesses does." Sienna stood up from her seat, shouting at the men. "Get out. She doesn't owe you anything anymore." The guests began murmuring, their fears shifting into outrage. The men looked at each other, realizing the risk. Too many eyes. Too many phones. Too much attention. And slowly they backed away. One of them shot Maya a threatening look. "This isn't over." Then they disappeared out the door. The room held its breath until the last echo of their footsteps vanished. And then everything collapsed into chaos. Sobs. Shouting. Questions. Shock. Relief. Terror. But in the center of it all stood Maya and Liam, still holding each other. The officiant approached timidly. "Do you want to continue the ceremony?" Maya shook her head. "No. Not now. Not today." Liam nodded. "This isn't how our story should start. We need time, space, safety, and honesty. All of it." The guests understood. The families less so. Maya's father stormed out. Her mother followed, collapsing in tears. Sienna wrapped her arms around her sister, crying into her shoulder. Jared placed a hand on Liam's back. And slowly, the hall emptied, leaving behind only flower petals, flickering candles, and the lingering tension of a moment that should have been blissful, but became unforgettable for entirely different reasons. Liam took Maya's face in his hands. "This isn't the end," he whispered. "It's just the beginning of the real story." She leaned into him, exhausted but relieved. "Are you sure?" she whispered. "Absolutely," he said. "We faced this together." For the first time in years, Maya believed it. They walked out of the venue hand in hand, not as newlyweds, but as two people finally free to tell the truth. And strangely, painfully, beautifully, that mattered more than any ceremony. You know, whenever I finish telling a story like this, I can't help thinking about all the things people hide just to be loved. Maybe it's because I've seen it too many times. People burying their past, their fears, their mistakes, hoping no one will ever uncover them. And honestly, I get it. Life teaches us to hide. But stories like Maya and Liam's remind me that sometimes, the bravest thing anyone can do is simply tell the truth. I'm glad you stayed with me until the end. Really, thank you. These stories mean a lot to me, and the fact that you took the time to listen makes everything worth it. If you felt something along the way, if any moment made you think or even breathe a little differently, then I'm grateful. And hey, if you want to keep hearing more stories like this, dark, emotional, unpredictable, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you realize. Leave a comment too. I always read what you write. And of course, hit the like button so this story reaches more people who love this kind of atmosphere. Thanks for staying. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.